You hear the term big data thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? What can it do? I mean, can it actually save a life? Well, today we're going to look inside a fascinating project from Victoria, Australia that's doing just that, turning a giant mountain of traffic numbers into a powerful tool for road safety.
Okay, let's just start with this. A single number, 49,600. It's a big one, right? Just kind of sits there. But what is it?
Well, that's how many road crashes happened in Victoria, Australia in just the 2 years after the lockdowns ended. Almost 50,000. And you have to remember, every single one of those isn't just a statistic. It's a story. It's an event that affected real people.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's one thing to have a number that big. It's another thing entirely to make it useful. So how do you take this giant pile of data and find the little patterns inside that could actually save lives?
All right, section 1. So where do we even begin? Well, you start with a mountain of data. Seriously, governments are constantly collecting tons of information, but when it's just raw, it's a mess. It's complicated, it's all over the place, and you can't just look at it and know what to do.
And yeah, when I say a mess, I mean it. It's not just one big spreadsheet. The raw stuff is a whole collection of different files. You've got the basic facts about each crash, then you've got separate data on the weather at the time, what the road surface was like, the super specific map coordinates. It's like having 1,000 puzzle pieces, but they're all from different boxes. So how in the world do you put those puzzle pieces together? You need a plan, a blueprint, and that's exactly what this project is. Think of it like a data intelligence factory. It's designed to take all that raw, messy stuff in one end and have pure, useful insights come out the other.
So here's the game plan, broken down. First, you just dump all that raw data into one giant digital bucket. Then, a really powerful system does all the hard work, the heavy lifting of cleaning it up and making connections. And get this, the whole thing is automated and tested, so you know the results are solid every time. Finally, all the good stuff, the actual answers, are presented in these super clear, interactive dashboards that anybody can use.
Okay, so I mentioned heavy lifting, right? To really get what that means, the project uses this brilliant metaphor. They talk about refining data like it's a precious metal, moving from a bronze stage to silver, and then finally to gold.
So first up is bronze. This is the raw ore, straight from the ground. All the data gets dumped here exactly as it came in. Nothing's changed. This is great because you always have the original source, but it also means it's messy. It's got typos, mistakes, all sorts of inconsistencies.
Then we get to the silver stage. This is the assembly line. This is where the real work gets done. The data is cleaned, sorted, standardized, things like making sure all the dates are in the same format, getting rid of duplicate entries, fixing obvious mistakes. This is the step that makes the data something you can actually trust.
And that brings us to gold. This is the showroom, the final, polished product. This data is perfect, ready for analysis. It's structured in a way that when you ask it a question, you get an answer, like instantly. This is the point where the data finally starts to tell us its secrets.
Okay, so that's the process. Bronze, silver, gold. A ton of work. But what's the payoff? After all that refining, what did this gold-tiered data actually reveal? What did we learn?
So, out of those nearly 50,000 crashes we started with, this is the number that really stops you in your tracks, 800. That's how many of those crashes were fatal. And bringing that number down, well, that's the whole point of this entire project.
And right off the bat, the data gives us something completely unexpected. I mean, think about it. If I asked you to picture a dangerous spot for a car crash, you'd probably think of a busy intersection, right? Most of us would. But the data says we're wrong. It shows that about 2/3 of all fatal crashes don't happen at intersections at all.
And you can see it right here. That massive 66% slice, that's what they call mid-block crashes. Basically, the normal stretches of road between intersections. Compare that to T intersections and cross intersections, they only make up about 30% combined. I mean, just that one finding alone is a total game changer for where you'd focus on making roads safer.
The data also told us when things are most dangerous. And it's not just at night, it's way more specific. The absolute deadliest condition is driving at dusk or in the dark on a road with no streetlights. The chances of a crash being fatal in those conditions are just disproportionately high. It's a huge red flag. So we know it's not at intersections and it's often on unlit roads, but where exactly are these hotspots? Well, the data shows they're not random at all. They are heavily clustered on major arterial roads. The main arteries of a city, especially in the big metro corridors around Melbourne.
This is just a perfect example of data telling you, hey, look over here. This is the kind of road you need to fix.
So this is all incredibly powerful stuff, right? But believe it or not, this is just the beginning. The team behind this is already thinking about the future, about how to make these insights even sharper.
So, what's next? It's all about adding more layers of information. Imagine not just knowing the number of crashes, but the crash rate, by adding in data on how much traffic a road actually gets. Or what if you could map crashes by suburb? Or, and this is a big one, what if you could add in data on when speed limits changed to see if it actually made a difference? Each one of these additions makes the tool exponentially more powerful.
And that really brings us to the most important point here. Yeah, this project was about Victoria, Australia, but its true value is that it's a repeatable blueprint. This whole process, the bronze, silver, gold thing, it's a model that any city, any state, any country could use to turn their own messy data into tools that can actually shape policy and save lives.
Which leaves us with one final and honestly most important question. The data has done its part. The technology has worked. It's cut through all the noise and pointed a giant flashing arrow at the problems. It's told us the what and the where. So now the question isn't for the data anymore. It's for us. Now that we can see the patterns so clearly, what are we going to do about them?